Hello everyone, and welcome to my GH Soap Opera Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
General Hospital spoilers. Wiley's mishap in Drew's room medication switch causes chaos. General Hospital teasers reveal that, as Wiley Corinthos is now living with Willow Kane at her house 40% of the time, may the small child have an accident in his stepfather's bed, forcing a medicine switch? Willow will have much on her plate in the weeks ahead, and with two tiny ones running around the home, the children might cause some turmoil that leads to even more drama, so let's speak about it. The week of February 16th to 20th proved to be a momentous one for Willow. She not only got her children back, but she was also given with an offer from Jen Sidwell that she seemingly would not reject. Sidwell advised that Willow finish off Drew Kane's time in Congress. After a talk with her mom, Nina Reeves, Willow feels set to embrace the work at hand and start a very fascinating new chapter in her life. This means she'll be juggling a lot in the weeks ahead, playing part-time parent and part-time lawmaker. Still, this all feels like a prescription for disaster in Willow's universe. As General Hospital viewers know, Willow isn't just guilty for shooting Drew, she's also the one who left him in the dilemma he's in now. Drew has locked-in syndrome, owing to a stroke that Willow brought on when she drugged him. On the day she was exonerated for his shooting, Willow stabbed Drew in the neck, which produced his current state. Drew cannot walk, talk or move, and his sole method of communication is blinking. Still, Willow gives him an injection of medicines every day to ensure he stays in this state, so GH fans know that a circumstance where she fails to give him these pills might develop, which would expose her previous misdeeds and effectively ruin her. Willow was naive enough to acknowledge to Drew that she shot him and poisoned him, thus producing this condition, thus something is sure to happen where Drew doesn't get his dosage, and completely recovers to report out Willow. Even the finest kids are naughty, and it's hard not to assume that Wiley will wind up in Drew's room at some time. Whether he's playing hide and seek with a buddy or his sister, Amelia Corinthos, or just stumbles into his stepdad's room, Wiley will know he's not meant to be there, but go in regardless. With that stated, Wiley might get quite spooked out when he finds Drew in the situation he's in. Will his mother contact Wiley, generating a feeling of terror for the child? Could Wiley end up accidentally striking Drew's medicine, causing the syringes to fly in the air? He'll scurry to pick them up, maybe he tosses them in the garbage, and there's definitely a potential he grabs a box of other pills to replace them. Willow will be busy with the job of parent and congressman, so when she goes to give Drew his dosage, it may be the wrong drug. In fact, whatever Willow ends up inserting into Drew's might accelerate his recuperation quicker than predicted. Drew may be up on his feet in no time, and with his Navy SEAL training, he'll flee his room and be out in a flash. Either way, Wiley and Amelia being in the home would provide a layer of distraction for Willow, where she may even forget to give Drew his daily medicine dose, and find herself in a heap of difficulty when she does so. General Hospital spoilers say that Drew may be down, but he's far from out, and Willow's biggest error was placing him in this position instead of offing him for sure. Maxi and Nathan's reunion delivers shocks. General Hospital teases a momentous moment Maxi never imagined, as she never believed she'd lay eyes on a living and breathing Nathan again. What to anticipate on General Hospital? The last thing Maxi expected anybody to tell her was that her husband, Nathan, was alive. Maxi saw him die and buried his body. How can he be living as if nothing occurred 8 years ago? When she takes a stroll and goes by his grave, she doesn't expect to see him there, yet there he is in the flesh. The occasion is obviously awkward as neither Maxi nor Nathan knows what to say to one another, but a lot has happened in over a decade. Nathan doesn't remember any of it, but Maxi has a whole new life with Spinelli and 2 more kids than she had when Nathan died. When Nathan asks Maxi where they stand, she doesn't exactly know what to answer him. She loves Spinelli, but is it the type of love she had for Nathan? Does she still feel that love? Spinelli definitely hopes so, as he tells Lulu he is not sure he is ready for a battle. Michael loses his temper after realizing that Chase had been messing about with his keys. Michael is enraged. He rushes home and finds Chase in the kitchen, where he swiftly decks him right in front of a very confused Brooklyn. Back at the PCPD, Justine evaluates her choices. She is not entirely convinced that Chase is the man that they are seeking for and informs Dante that they have to step carefully. Wiley is not pleased. Willow believes she has all she wants for the moment, but Wiley has a surprise for her. He doesn't enjoy living at that house with Uncle Drew. Willow has to examine her alternatives. Does she continue to keep Drew in that bedroom or send him to a long-term care facility where he has to still obtain his meds? Meanwhile, Rick has news for Alexis in the Drew shooting case. Since Alexis already knows that Willow did it, she is intrigued about what Rick has to say. General Hospital's Kelly Thibaud speaks out about leading man's unexpected exit. "I feel let down." General Hospital fans weren't the only ones upset off to find that Steve Burton would be taking a leave of absence. Kelly Thibaud was disappointed too. Star-crossed lovers Jason and Britt had just finally gotten together, and puffed that fast, their relationship was being put on hold again. "I was shocked when I found out," she confesses in the latest episode of State of Mind posted by TV Insider. "So I confronted Steve about it." Why is Burton bowing out? Thibaud recognized her leading man's wish to take a vacation. "I'm newly married and looking forward to spending some quality time with my family," stated the actor, who wed Michelle Lundstrom back in May of last year. "But the other side of that," Thibaud says, "is I feel let down, you know? I thought we had time together, and it's just been very hard." The last time Jason and Britt's storyline was heating up was in 2021, when Burton was let go for refusing to comply with the COVID vaccination protocols that the show had put in place to safeguard its cast and crew. When will Jason be returning? At least this time around, fans know when the Emmy winner will be returning as Jason. "He will be back this summer," he declared in announcing his leave. Lucy busted, violent brawl, Sidwell's solution. Fans might anticipate Lucy Coe to get exposed. Jen Sidwell plays hardball. Plus, Michael Corinthos and Harrison Chase engage into a nasty brawl. Violent brawl. Let's start out by talking about Michael and Chase. Fans know that Chase manufactured evidence to accuse Michael in Drew Kane's shooting. Michael is on the hot seat, but he also gets into a nasty brawl. In a teaser clip for Monday's show, the men get embroiled in a violent altercation. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine may be seen in the background leaping out of the way. Later, Chase has to make a difficult choice. Maxi Jones overwhelmed over in the graveyard. Maxi Jones wasn't expecting to confront Nathan West. While Nathan, Damian Spinelli, and Lulu Spencer are impatient for an explanation, it seems Maxi gets too overwhelmed to deliver one. Meanwhile, Spinelli will continue sweating out over perhaps losing Maxi. Isaiah Gannon explains General Hospital spoilers for the week of February 23 state that Isaiah Gannon goes to talk to Trina Robinson. Despite the delicate and tight circumstances, Isaiah doesn't want conflict between him and Portia Robinson's kid. Jordan Ashford's warning over at the Port Charles Police Department. Justine Turner gives words of warning. The lady informs Dante Falconeri that they can't get it wrong this time or heads would roll. Of course, she is talking about Michael. What else to expect? As for what else to expect, Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Jocelyn Jack's chat about Emma Scorpio. Sonny Corinthos opens up to Rick Lansing. Director Ross Cullum confronts Jason Morgan. Later, Jason and Britt Westbourne examine their alternatives. Lucas Jones ends up acquiring critical intel. However, later he wants answers. So, I wonder if Lucas may bring himself into great danger. Also, Laura Collins conducts a news conference. This is presumably about her advice that Alexis Davis run for Congress. However, Laura has to hold back later. I wonder if this is because Sidwell takes charge and informs her Willow Tate Kane will be taking over Drew's post. Elsewhere, Lucy gets busted. General Hospital actress joins Pixar's Toy Story franchise in starring role. The official trailer for Toy Story 5, the next entry in the renowned film franchise from Disney and Pixar, has surfaced, and General Hospital fans will hear a familiar voice in the character of Bonnie, the small girl who now has Andy's toys. Bonnie is played by Scarlett Spears, previously known as Donna Corinthos on GH. Bonnie Lass Donna, the daughter of Sonny Corinthos and Carly Spencer, has been portrayed by Spears since 2022. But in between performances in Port Charles, the bright young actress is forging a lucrative film career. Most recently, she struck the big screen in the role of young Glinda in the sequel Wicked, For Good. Now comes word that she plays a big part in Toy Story 5, which is slated to open in theaters on June 19th. On her official Instagram account, which is run by her mother, a photo of Spears in her new role was accompanied by this caption: "So incredibly proud to announce that Miss Scarlett Brielle will be stepping into the role of Bonnie in Toy Story 5. White Heart sparkles, grateful, excited, and beyond proud to see her bring heart, joy, and fun to a character we all love, Growing Heart." The message concluded, "To infinity and beyond." Here we go. Rocket Dizzy in theaters June 19th. Among the first GH celebs to congratulate Spears on Instagram were Tabiana Ali, Nazneen Contractor and Gary James Fuller. Spears is not the only actor making their franchise debut in Toy Story 5. Other newbies include Greta Lee, Conan O'Brien and Craig Robinson. But there are also many returning favorites in the cast, including Joan Cusack, Tom Hanks, John Ratzenberger and Wallace Shawn. Soap opera comings and goings, huge return, fan favorites back. A famous celebrity is returning and fan favorites are back on soap operas. Here are the latest comings and goings casting news from all 5 daytime dramas: The Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, The Young and the Restless, and Beyond the Gates. Key takeaways: Shamar Moore and Vivica A. Fox highlight: Major returns to The Young and the Restless with a high-stakes plotline. Days welcomes back old faces including Justin, Bonnie, and Rachel while saying goodbye to Jack and Jennifer. GH keeps Spinelli front and center as many fan-favorite characters re-emerge. The Bold and the Beautiful showcases Ivy as she generates turmoil in Electra's love life. Beyond the Gates has a special appearance from Gayle King connected to a significant plot. The week of February 23, 2026, find out if any of your favorite actors and actresses from yesteryear are returning to the shows you watch, if any newbies have been cast in contract, recurring, or day player roles, or if any famous performers are ready to make their leave. The Young and the Restless casting: Shamar Moore is returning to YNR as Malcolm Winters. The actor, who first played the late Neil's brother from 1995 to 2005 and has continued to make small cameos throughout the years, will be back for a multi-episode plot arc and has already begun filming episodes as Lily's biological father. Moore made his last performance on the show in 2023 for YNR's 50th anniversary. Khalil provided a behind-the-scenes shot of Moore's first day back on the set. Joining Moore for the aforementioned narrative is Vivica A. Fox, who's returning as Dr. Stephanie Simmons. Fox temporarily portrayed Stephanie from 1994 to 1995. At the time, her character dated Malcolm. According to an official announcement from the program, Malcolm and Stephanie's arrival will have shocking and lasting implications for the residents of Genoa City. Melissa Ordway gets more airtime as Abby Newman Winters, while Ethan Ray Clark is back as her on-screen son, Dominic. They share scenes with Brighton James Devon and Sean Dominic's Nathan this week. Ordway recently chimed in on what it was like portraying Dominic's kidnapping narrative. Matt Cohen is back on the scene as Detective Burrow. The Genoa City cop meets with Joshua Morrow's Nick, Sharon Case's Sharon, Lucas Adams' Noah, and Tamara Braun's Sienna on Thursday, February 26. Days of Our Lives casting Wally Kurth and Judy Evans are back as Justin and Bonnie Kiriakis on Days. The pair interacts with Carson Boatman's Johnny and Robert Scott Wilson's Alex on Monday, February 23. Hank Northrup gets more screen time as Liam Selejko and crosses up with several new Salemites. He shares scenes with Dan Feuerriegel's EJ and Marissa Reyes-Ari on Wednesday, February 25. Northrup weighed in on how soaps are the best training ground for performers. Peter Port resumes his spell as Dimitri von Leuschner. He has scenes with his ex Leo on Wednesday, February 25 and Friday, February 27. Port reflected on his spectacular comeback to the soap and what it's meant to him. Alice Halsey resurfaces as Rachel Black. Rachel Boyd Sophia plays hardball with the precocious character on Thursday, February 26. Claude George Jr. appears as Officer Hanson. He interacts with Mary Beth Evans's Kayla and Abigail Klein's Stephanie on Monday, February 23 and Elia Cantu's Jada and Lindsay Godfrey's Sarah on Tuesday, February 24. On the departure front, Matthew Ashford and Melissa Reeves have finished up their stay as Jack and Jennifer Devereaux. As always, the door has been kept open for their return to Salem at another point. Check out this homage to the long-time super couple. General Hospital casting Bradford Anderson continues to gain significant screen time as Damian Spinelli, now that he's in a front-burner triangle with Kirsten Storm's Maxi and Ryan Pavy's Nathan on GH. He shares heartwarming sequences with Alexa Havens's Lulu on Monday, February 23 and airs throughout the week. Anderson offered his opinion on the strong plot on an episode of That's Awesome. Lynn Herring is returned as Lucy Coe. The powerful figure finds herself with some explaining to do on Friday, February 27. Kathleen Gotti returns as Dr. Liesel Albrecht. Look for her on-screen daughter, Kelly Thiebaud's Brit, to seek her mother's support on Friday, February 27. Andrew Hawkes resurfaces as Ross Cullum. The corrupt WSB director questions Steve Burton's Jason on Tuesday, February 24. Nazneen Contractor reappears as District Attorney Justine Turner. She interacts with Dominic Zamprogna's Dante on Monday, February 23. Check out some fascinating facts about the GH actress. Viren Weaver pops in as Wiley Corinthos. The Tyke shares scenes with his TV mom, Caitlin McMullen's Willow, on Monday, February 23. The bold and the beautiful casting Ashley Brewer receives considerable screen time as Ivy Forrester on BNB. Look for the character to continue to stir the pot with her niece Electra's love life on Wednesday, February 25, Thursday, February 26, and Friday, February 27. She shares scenes with Brian Nicoletti's RJ, Muriel Hilaire's Daphne and others. Brewer just disclosed some great personal news. Savannah Lee James returns as Jamie. The Forrester Creations receptionist airs on Tuesday, February 24. In scenes with Nicoletti's RJ and Lawrence St. Victor's Carter Jade Coatsworth pops in as Kingsley. The Forrester Creations in turn debuts on Tuesday, February 24 against Nicoletti's RJ, St. Victor's Carter, and James Jamie. Beyond the Gates casting Gayle King makes a surprise appearance as herself on Monday, February 23. The broadcast journalist is on hand as Anita decides to go public with her cancer diagnosis. Wonder Willow, Ambitious Alexis, Marvelous Maxi, and Luke. The women of General Hospital have had quite a week. 2 of them even have designs on DC, but getting there will be easier said than done. We are not even sure how one of them will find the time, but when you've turned into a minx, we think you can do anything. And the other one? Well, she may have finally found her calling. Then there is Maxi. She's taking up precisely where he left off, but with a bit of a cemetery twist. Finally, we have Luke Spencer, who is one of those rare soap characters who has now been honored with not just 1, but 2 heartfelt memorials. We also have a word or two to say about one of Luke's 2 namesakes, and it's not pleasant. So let's go in with those 2 scoops and evaluate the week that was. Willow wants to go to Washington, so let us grasp what just transpired. Knowing she needs more time in her hectic schedule to keep Drew both alive and disabled while she emotionally and psychologically tortures him, Misery style, Willow resigned her work as a nurse. But at the end of the hour, Sidwell presented her with a job transition she is really considering, so we have a few things to think here. First, this woman was just acquitted of attempted murder. On top of that, she really committed the crime and has no idea how many others have been clued into this. Second, didn't she recently resign her job because she had no time to work? And didn't her kids recently arrive to live with her again for 40% of the time, which is a lot more time than merely visiting privileges a few times a month? Willow has a whole lot on her plate, yet somehow she is going to find the time to torture Drew and take care of her kids while on the campaign road and then commuting back and forth to DC. We imagine that as a member of the House, the Speaker would call frequent recesses any time he doesn't want to have to hold a vote on something, so she doesn't have to be there that much, right? It's not like Drew ever done anything as a lawmaker. He was too busy strolling or limping around town, shouting our warnings and directing Willow what to do. Who has time for Congress? Certainly not Drew. And certainly not Willow, yet nobody seems to care. Alexis wants to rescue the world. Alexis was also in for a big ol' surprise when Laura informed her she wanted to suggest her to the governor to assume Drew's congressional seat. So first, let's handle the entire criminals for Congress issue. Drew was our first criminal politician, getting elected to the House of Representatives after doing time for insider trading. Since criminal elected people are all the rage in America over the previous decade, we believed we'd let it pass, but now we have 2 criminals demanding his position. Willow just shot a man and Alexis has killed numerous men. Heck, she even shackled one of them to a gurney in her basement with a ball gag in his mouth only last summer. But here she is, poised to take Washington by storm. And who better to drain that literal swamp of cultish criminals than Alexis herself, caped crusader for justice, who just let her would-be murderous client go free. Alexis is always ready to take up arms for the little guy and fight for our liberty and rights. She even took the city to court so that Olivia may breastfeed Leo in public. Our female fighter is everything that DC needs, and we wish she could travel to Washington for good. She'd surely do a better job at promoting women's interests than Willow. Sidwell controls the power, or does he? And this is when it becomes very tough. Sidwell is the puppet master tugging the political threads in Port Charles. He was tugging Drew's strings, he has Ezra in his back pocket, and has been blackmailing Laura into doing his bidding. He is the one who wants Willow to take Drew's seat, and Laura is going to have a heck of a time trying to convince him to give it to Alexis. Can she convince him to let them partake in a little friendly competition? Willow working so closely to Sidwell might potentially be a lot more rewarding for Willow than she expects, and much more entertaining for us. Can you imagine the amount of unhinged we will see from an already unhinged Willow when she eventually finds that Sidwell was the one who paid the judge to remove her kids? Wait till she finds out he's also the one who had her slain. Sunny, Jason, Britt, Jocelyn, and the WSB have been trying to bring Sidwell down for a year. But our bets are on Wonder Willow and her trusty syringe. The finest off-their-chain characters are the ones who have spent so many years being clean and immaculate that nobody would ever suspect a thing.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel without missing any update.